Welcome back to the 100 Millionaires Podcast. My name is Walter Murillo. On this podcast, we talk about building wealth, helping people get out of their financial rut and see abundance. I'm here with my amazing co-host, Michael Schein. Mike, why don't you bring us in with your amazing speech?
Massive income from passive income. Great to see you, Walter.
It's great to see you, Mike.
Let's crush it.
I think this week you've had a pretty phenomenal week holding Tesla as your main real stock. And what is the reason Tesla's on the spike, so like going up so quickly?
Yeah, so they just the S&P 500 just announced that they are kicking some other company out of the S&P 500 and bringing Tesla in as of December 21st. So there are lots of exchange traded funds that track the S&P 500, which means that they have to own a share, a portion of every single company that's in the S&P 500. So when a company like Tesla gets included, they have to all buy shares or portions, shares of it to balance their S&P 500 exchange traded fund. A little bit more in depth about it is that usually the companies that go to the S&P 500 were actually in the S&P 400. So these ETFs already held some of whatever stock it was. Say it was like Esty, for example, which was accepted last month.
Did they decide to remove Esty from the S&P 500 and give Tesla its rightful place?
No, some other company that's on the down and outs. But this is a really unique thing because Tesla is so valuable that as soon as it gets let into the S&P, it's in the top 10 companies in the S&P 500. So they've never really dealt with this one before, and it also was never in the S&P 400. So there are fund managers out there scrambling to buy Tesla to balance their accounts before December 21st. So that's been something they've been talking about for about 6 months now. So they should have been accepted last quarter, but they weren't. So now here it is. So lots of Tesla fans are really excited about today. I like to point out, it has nothing to do with the fundamentals of the company. The company's just building its cars, its solar panels, its batteries, its all that other stuff. But this is just, I guess it gives it more visibility and more credibility. It's kind of like when Rap Leo went on to the Ethereum website blockchain.
You're pretty proud of yourself for learning about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. It's funny to be like, it's really cool to be a part of it, because when I was at an event, I remember 3 years ago, and this guy came in, he's like, I've got my cryptocurrency, it's brand new, and it's just going ICO right now, and it's got to be huge. And the speaker at the time was like, all right, bro, like, get out of here. These people are here.
I remember that.
They're not here to learn about your cryptocurrency. So he did a poll. The room was like, who here wants to learn more about his blockchain? Nobody raised their hand. The dude just walked out. So I had a bad taste in my mouth for, new coins and different cryptocurrencies, because I'm thinking this .com boom, like these things are going to come and go, and I don't want to, I don't like to put good money and bad money. And so he inspired me. He inspired me to realize that there's going to be a lot of money made and a lot of money lost. And
well, I think with the crypto, what has happened is there are some big companies, like I always talk about ARK Invest. Kathy Wood said that you should definitely have some cryptocurrency, and I think she specifically said Bitcoin. But then Square, which is Jack Dorsey, who started Twitter, they just bought $50 million worth of Bitcoin. So when you see these major purchases, there's others out there. It kind of gives it legitimacy. So,
well, PayPal as well. So Square and PayPal just bought a ton of Bitcoin, and they just opened up their ability to use Bitcoin. So
cool.
They went and made the purchase, and then they put it on their website to promote it. Nice. And it's interesting because we've done the same thing. We went and made the purchase, and then we said, hey, by the way, we'll accept Bitcoin as a form of currency.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now you have to get a $17,000 program.
100%. It's a work in progress.
That's what you do. You don't even say the price. All you say is the price is 1 Bitcoin.
There it is. We trade in Bitcoin now.
whatever it is. That would be awesome. But anyways, back to Tesla. So,
Segue.
well, because Tesla, that's what we were talking about and the
Yep.
legitimacy of it. So now it's, like I said, it's one of the more valuable it's one of the more valuable companies, and now it's got the visibility of the S&P, and it's really come a long way from being a month away from bankruptcy, and with all sorts of bears and naysayers out there saying it would never make it. It's not a guarantee that it's going to continue, but it seems like it's really on the right road. Tesla is. It's exciting. It's really exciting. And
it is exciting, especially if you're holding a ton of it.
Yeah.
And
but they have a mission. Like they're moving us to sustainable energy. So you got to support a company like that. It's near and dear to my heart. It's not just the money; it's the fact that
I know
Elon is doing. Elon is doing something that's just amazing, and so I want to be a part of it. Yeah.
And that's what, like, to me is the biggest draw to Tesla is I really want to do what he's doing. Like, I really just, if I can help in any way, I kind of want to be a part of it. And so the funding side of that is like, how big of a part can I be in the beginning, because that makes it more valuable. And the other side to what's happening, why Tesla's another great company, is the sustainable energy. If you look at Biden's plan, there is $4 trillion set aside to help sustainable energy companies. So there's likely more funding opening up for Tesla.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's awesome.
My question is, where are they going to fit the T in FANG? Will it become Fatang or
Fatang? That actually works, because they used to be, FANG was just Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, and Google, but then they started adding Apple to that.
Right.
And so if you put the T in there, it's not FANG, it's Fatang.
Yeah, or maybe it's Tan Fang. We'll come up Tan Fat.
Right?
Tag Fan. We'll come up with a fun.
Yeah.
But
let's have a contest. Put it down in the comments below.
All right, if you can come up, I like that. If you can come up with a great acronym for adding Tesla, adding the T to FANG to FANG, then we'll hook you up with something. We'll give you something really cool. We haven't figured out.
Give you some prop money. Prop money.
It'll be in the mail. I like it. We'll send the prop gold coin. We'll send that out.
Oh, that's cool.
So, Mike, you saw yesterday I had Drew Martin in here, and you and I have.
I knew we were heading towards coins.
Silver, bro.
Nice segue.
How can we not hit this hard asset out of, we've gotten equities, we've gotten cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Now we're going into precious metals. So I hit and grabbed all the precious metals, one of each, and I put this in this little
nice
sheet. Now, Ron yesterday was able to call it. He said this is about $200 worth of silver.
That was amazing. I heard that when he was
absolutely amazing. He nailed it.
I was like, what? Wow, Ron, that's amazing.
So it's literally $200 worth of silver. And
dude, you remind me of Gary V. I would watch that show. The show where you go out there and just buy coins and stuff like that.
So it was funny. We walked into one, and I was like, all right, so I got to turn the camera off now because I'm about to go hustle. I had to go negotiate.
That's awesome. I would have liked to seen that.
So that's going to take a little while before I have the guts. So here's the deal with silver. This isn't like a yard sale where you're outside just talking to people. There's security. There's a buzzer to get in. There's cameras on you the whole time.
Are these pawn shops or coin shop? What are they?
These are coin shops.
Cool.
But you look at their inventory, and they're sitting on $15,000-$20,000 just in what they're showing you, and then in the safe they have even more. So there's quite a bit of money there, and they have a really cool operation. So as I build the relationships with them, I probably will allow them, and I may have to pitch it as, hey, look, I want you to negotiate with me as hard as you possibly can, and let me get it on camera so I can show people that the spot price really is a spot price. Maybe that's how I'll justify and get them to let me record them.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Hey, can you get silver or gold bars? Is that
you can?
You can buy a bar. That would be
absolutely
crazy. How much is a bar worth of gold?
It depends on how much. So I do have a bar here.
was talking about like the
Like
big ones, like at Fort Knox.
this is a 1 ounce bar, right?
Okay.
So 1 ounce bar, you can see how thin that
That's
is.
not what I was talking about.
No. So, I mean, we got to be very specific here. So, so if you want a 10 ounce bar, they're just a little bit bigger. But
Okay.
a 100 ounce bar, is a $25,000 bar right now.
Nice.
And that is actually the easiest way to get close to spot is to buy
That's
bars.
silver or gold?
Silver.
Okay.
A
What's a
100
gold
ounce
bar?
bar of gold is
Yeah.
a $200,000 bar.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah.
That's
Oh
like
yeah.
a candy bar.
It's just
$100,000 bar.
Now they weigh the same,
Yeah.
but you pay different.
That's so funny. Made me think when I was a kid, they had this candy bar called the $100,000 bar. And then they changed the name to 100 grand because they shrunk the bar. You know how they do that? So they didn't want all those zeros hanging off the end of it. So
They left the package the same size, shrunk the bar though.
Yeah. I have this thing I always talk about. There was another candy bar called the Marathon Bar.
Oh yeah.
And as you got older, you kept buying it. I joke around that the bar became a sprint instead of a marathon because it was like this really long, yummy candy. And now it's like a Halloween treat size or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a sign of the economy. That's inflation for you, Mike.
Right.
That is they want to deliver the same price, price point, but you can no longer put the same amount of candy in the package. And so
they did it with milk cartons now and orange juice. It's like my hand got bigger. The carton got smaller.
You could never buy a quarter gallon of milk before, but now you can buy fractional gallons of milk.
Yeah. My daughter didn't even know it. I pointed it out. I said, Emma, did you notice that the orange juice is smaller? She's like, oh, I didn't even notice. I said, oh, there's some Harvard business guy sitting in the marketing department of Tropicana going, we could shrink this carton by this much and nobody would notice.
If we just put it a little smaller.
Yeah, right. Brilliant.
There's literally got to be a museum for older jars, older
Right?
containers where you look at just the size and it's just
it gone down.
the evolution of the orange juice.
Remember what in the movie Yes Man when they go to Nebraska and they go to the phone museum, he takes his little cell phone and he puts it in Alexander Graham Bell's and he says, oh, those phones were small. That was fun. That's a great movie.
It is a good movie. Yes Man.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey, phenomenal. Teaches you how to say yes more often.
Yeah,
which is a key to success. Surrender. It's very similar to the surrender experiment. Just go out, say yes.
Yeah, it's a really great movie because it's funny, it's entertaining, and it has a really good message. Yeah. It's awesome.
I think the message was so powerful. And
once you said it, while we're on subject, is the I Am Not Your Guru, which you recommended to me, Tony Robbins. I highly recommend that. That's a great one too.
That one is a ton of fun. So Tony Robbins' I'm Not Your Guru was one of the first places that I saw that you can swear on stage and be completely acceptable. And after watching him, I was like, well, I don't know why I'm having an issue with this. And then
Brenda's like, why is he swearing so much?
Honestly, this is how I am in real life. And so on stage, I'd be like,
That's
so
tricky.
My dad's constantly on me. He's like, man, like, son, I really think you should tone back on the swearing. And I tell him, I'm like, Dad, like, broke people swear and it kind of attracts them in and it makes them feel more comfortable. Like this is a safe place.
Like a real person. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Like I'm not like this rich guy who's so far above them. And, you know, I don't mind it so much. You know, it's not for kids. You know, I think that there are TV shows for kids out there and there's things that kids can watch, but even Gary Vee swears. Gary Vee, Tony Robbins swear, like there's an intention behind it. You know, it's an attention grabber. It like shocks the mind. And if it had no effect, I wouldn't use it. But every time I say the F word, people go, oh, did he just say the F word? And like they wake up. So
You should see it when I say it.
right.
It's like, what?
It's like, whoa. Yeah. So there's a space for it. But
my kids get a kick out of it too.
Yeah, of course. You know,
I'm in the house.
Yeah. Think about it.
Well
You know,
placed. Yeah.
if my dad ever swore, like, I think the world would actually, like, fall over had an earthquake the other day. My theory is like buildings would actually shake if you ever said like any
Really?
one of the bad words. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
If you
That's
utilize foul
awesome.
language, the world would change, right?
I was just
So,
thinking about something. So is silver and gold, are those prices going up right now?
oh yeah. Actually,
So that's interesting. So you've got the triangle of the three of us. So Tesla's going up, Bitcoin's going up, and silver is going up. So all three of what the three of us, you, myself, and Mitch, are
and
going up right now.
and if you look at it, that means the only thing going down out of what we invest in is cash.
Right?
Cash value is going down. That doesn't mean it's not a good time to hold it, because cash is the only way you can buy all the other assets when they drop, unless simultaneously, like, as we're talking about the S&P and we're talking about real estate and gold, which we haven't talked about real estate yet, but gold and Bitcoin, they all seem to go up together now, right? It's not like it used to be where the stock market
Right.
went up and gold went down, right? Like now
Right.
they're all, some reason there's just so much money in the marketplace.
There's
And
no place else to put it.
100%,
I mean, unless
everybody's
you're gonna
afraid to stay in
buy
cash.
real estate, but which is obviously we're all in that. And I don't mean to say that we're not investing in real estate. I'm saying that we picked another asset besides real estate.
We're buying them houses, them greenhouses.
That's right.
We're trading some of them up for condos, big red condos. So
There's a guy, I mentioned him before on YouTube, Meet Kevin, and the other day he bought himself a 19, I can't remember what year it is, but he bought the Roadster.
no way.
He had somebody from Car Gurus, and he just said, if you ever get a Tesla Roadster, you know, like the used ones, the old ones, they have
Right.
like a convertible top. I guess the new ones will not have the convertible top. But so he bought one. You know, it's typical clickbait because it says, I bought these two vehicles there. They cost me $1.3 million I spent in one day. And
Yeah.
the first one is that he lives in Ventura, California, which is right near where I used to be in Santa Barbara.
Nice.
Right down the coast. I love Ventura. So he bought a Roadster, and then I turned it off, but they got a house. So I guess that's his other vehicle, is they bought a big.
I got it.
Yeah. So
I got it. Which is smart. Good segue into real estate.
yeah.
Which is also going up. The prices of real estate are on the rise in a crazy way. Condos that I bought a year ago have appreciated. We assessed them at 100. They're coming in at 110 and 118. Like, we've done nothing to change them whatsoever, other than change the association. So like that appreciation is nuts.
We were talking yesterday about becoming a millionaire. You have to buy 5 properties. And I didn't want to interrupt you, but I was saying that you could say to the people in the mentorship that you made one deal that would have made one person a millionaire in one deal, because those 24 condos, one swing, that's it.
Yep.
So people, I really feel like it's your mindset, because people put that millionaire thing up there, but when you actually do the numbers, like Mitch Durfee had that sign on his wall that said, one person $1 million, 2 people 500,000 or whatever. Sell,
Yep.
Yeah, that. If you actually sat, I think that's part of the mindset, that a lot of people who don't have millionaire status have never actually sat and done the numbers.
Yeah, that's the truth. And if you do a monthly subscription, the numbers change dramatically. You don't need as many clients. You could do a smaller dollar amount with a monthly subscription.
Right.
And if you get a consumable product, something that they require over and over, like rentals, right? So in fact, Ron and I were looking at our rentals the other day, and we're at 60 units, or it could be considered more or considered less, because 6 of those are actually an 18 room boarding house.
Yeah.
So we just assigned it to 6.
Yeah.
And if you look at what we've got coming in, it's over $40,000 a month, which is almost $500,000 in just rents. That's just our
So
rents. It's nothing to do with
so
the
good.
flips. And
So good. Yeah.
it's a big amount of money for some people, but for us, we've been doing that for so long
Mm,
because we previously were managing other people's portfolios and
right.
pulling in this dollar amount. So our mindset was like, we were used to handling this kind of money. And now it's just, we're handling it for ourselves.
I wanted to point out something that I tell a lot of new people is that I always, I'm a closing attorney, so I'm always there at the closing, but I don't think that the epiphany happens until the first check comes in the mail or hits your account, or actually more impactful when somebody gives you cash. Like
Yeah.
somebody gives you $800 and then you say, listen, we're not going to take cash in the future. Here's a couple of different ways that you can handle this. But when you get a big wad of cash, that's when it suddenly dawns on you that you need to scale up, because
Yeah.
what happens if you got like 40 40 of those, or yeah, whatever. It's
Dude, I don't even keep $40,000 of prop money on my desk, right? Like it's just too cumbersome to have it.
I think
But
it's
that's what 20 would look like. That's half of my rent for the month, right?
nice.
Like
Because I think
in hundreds.
the closing, especially for a newbie, is a little nerve-wracking. You don't really know what you're getting into. You think you might have to go fix some things, and so it's all nerve-wracking. But once you're in, like if it's an FHA 3-family and you've got an apartment on the third floor, but then when you start getting the other tenants giving you money, that first payment, that's mind-blowing.
It is.
That is when you suddenly say, oh my God, I see a path and
Like
I'm
this is
ready to
real.
go get more. Yeah.
100%. And
Yeah.
it's not like hundreds like that, right? Like, that $800 rent, it'd be 8 of those, or now rents are close to $1,000, $1,200.
Right.
And like, they don't pay in hundreds, man. They pay in 20s. They
That's
pay
why
in 20s.
I'm so excited about the deal that Ken and I are getting, because that's 15 more apartments. That's 15. I mean, that just blows my mind, because I think I almost manifested it, because Brenda and I kept saying, I want more, I want more. And then,
Yep.
Ken approached me with this one, and it's a perfect partnership, but
Yep.
it's exciting. It's exciting. I see a
It's
path to 500.
easily.
Yeah.
And
Then we'll be on the Matt Pitchney train.
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I think I said it a few weeks ago that I'm getting ready to start stacking cash so I can put it into syndication deals,
Yeah.
just like you did with your friend
Diami.
Yami,
Yeah.
just to build the relationship.
Yeah.
Throw 50 grand with this guy, 50 grand with that guy, see how they operate. Like I'm living in a condo, not a condo complex, a housing complex here in Tampa, 462 units. I learned so
Awesome.
much at the lease signing. Right,
Yeah.
day one, signing the lease, I'm sitting in there. There's 3 leasing agents in house. The
Yeah.
gym is across the hallway, and the pool's right outside. And I'm thinking about the organization of this design
Yeah.
and the context they set at the lease signing. We were there 30 minutes, but I knew all the rules, and I felt
Awesome.
really good about the complex
Yeah.
because they had all these rules. And
Hey, I wanted to shout out because I saw that Frank Catalano was on the
nice
Facebook, and
cash
he's
flow
also
kings.
he's a Cash Flow Kings, and he's also a syndicator.
He does
He's
syndications,
just done, I think, the first one that he was general partner on. It's very exciting.
50
And
units.
he's a great example because obviously I met him way after he'd been at the Rhode Island RIA for way longer than I was, but he had announced one day that he did his first general partnership as a syndicator. And again, it's like him and Matt Pitchney and Diami. You can just see the path towards getting to syndication. It's exciting.
And Eric Bowling, who used to run the one that Darina runs now, before Matt and Darina picked it up, Eric started that. He, I think, is up to 400 or 500 units. He just did, I think, in Plano, Texas, I believe that's where he lives. Well, he lives in Plano and he lives in Puerto Rico, so he goes back and forth.
Nice.
But he, I think he did a 400 unit. I'm not sure where it was. Don't quote me on where location was.
Yeah.
But he already owned, I think, 80 units up in Worcester, and then went down and did a syndication. So he,
Nice. I'm just
over
blown
time.
away that Matt Pitchney's doing them in Texas, because when you're talking to people, they say, oh, it's too late in these places, but apparently it's not. It's just
No.
like buying a 3-family, even if the market's high, if you do the research. I think Matt at one point, when I was watching the last couple of weeks, said, all he's looking for is one deal a year.
That's it.
And so if you're going to spend 12 months, all 220 days, if you take the weekends off or whatever the hell it is, just looking for one deal, I mean, that's
it's reasonable.
Yeah.
Like, you can find a good deal if all you did was look for one good deal.
Right.
Kenny Wolf said that to me too when he flew out to speak, and I had him on the podcast not too long ago on the Alchemist Nation podcast. Kenny Wolf,
Nice.
He had, I think, 7,000 units or something in that range. In fact, he just bought the Rockefeller building in Cleveland, Ohio, and he's renovating it. He had to raise $100 million to do this reno, 600 units in one big building all the way up.
Wow, that's so cool.
It's the coolest project. And he told me that he's like, yeah, doing one deal a year is about what I set my goal for.
That's awesome.
And this was a 3-year deal, but he's got it locked down. It's going. So he's on to the next deal, looking to do the next one.
And I think that for a key, if you're thinking about taking this path, is it's become a cliche because we say it so often, but your network is your net worth.
Yeah.
Because all these things that we're talking about, like finding the deal, finding the money, finding the contractors, whatever the third leg of that stool is, it was the
deals, money, labor. Yep.
Labor.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think it's all goes with networking because there are things that you can do or that we can do or can't do that other people can do. And that's huge. So it's just networking all the time. That's why your podcasts are amazing because you're touching people all over the country, and it's awesome.
It's cool because it's information we want, and so we go and we interview somebody, and then we have the information. We just share it at the same time, without having to go create a new platform. It's, hey, if you're interested in this, learn, listen, and expand. And it's really it's just me looking to learn and build relationships with those guys anyway. But the fact that we're able to deliver an audience to them gets them more excited about it. Right. And I think most of these guys would probably get on the phone with me anyway, but I don't think they'd give me 30 minutes of their time. It'd be 2 minutes,
That makes sense. Well, like from my example, I mentioned that woman, you have her book. I don't know if you brought it down there, but the one on syndication, she's the attorney, Amy, or whatever. But that was just from networking with Diami, and he has a relationship. So if you're intimidated by something, you're like, oh my God, I don't understand this whole legal part of the syndication. There's somebody out there that does it every single day. Exactly. She does it every single day, and you could probably get somebody else, like a lawyer like me, to try to learn it, but why? Exactly. You're just going to be paying me for my education. That's right. There are experts. I'll get her name. Do you remember the book? It was like
I know what you're talking about.
Something about private money, but
the legal way to how to not get sued, or legal way to raise private capital.
Yeah, and she's amazing. And I met her at that networking event that I met with Diami at in Boston, and she had a booth there. So she's pretty amazing. So
no way.
Good to know. So
I didn't realize that you had actually met her. So that's pretty cool.
Yep. And Diami's really good friends with her as well, so that's cool.
I've read about 8 books on syndication and raising capital, and that one actually is the best laid out. Like, you can just open it up to any chapter, and there's bullet points in there, and there's better description underneath them.
I'm looking it up while you're talking. So
awesome.
Kim Taylor, syndication attorney, Kim Lisa Taylor at syndicationattorneys.com. So if you want to get to her before we do our first syndication, that's who it is.
I like it. So the point in talking about all of our different assets, right? Real estate, Bitcoin, silver, gold, stocks, cash, and debt, is that I do believe that they are going at different rates. I do think that even though real estate is rising, even though cryptocurrency is going up, all across the board, Bitcoin is going up, silver and gold are obviously on the rise, stocks are on the rise. If you look, I do believe that the dollar is eroding in different sectors faster than the other ones. And we're going to see them hit at different times. little bubbles that are popping, but they're not popping in a big way all at the same time. I think that they're following each other in some ways, and some are moving ahead. The inflation's affecting them differently. They're moving ahead faster than others, but the change is still there. It's just a matter of where is the money going to go when it pops, when the bubble pops, when it gets a little burst. And that's, if you're a long-term investor like we are, you don't care, right? It doesn't matter, right? Like the bubble will burst, we'll go buy more. We have
Right.
the ability to leverage. We have the ability to quickly go in, bring in capital. And I said it to somebody yesterday. I was talking to Drew Martin. He was in the car with me, and we were going through looking to pick up some silver,
Yeah.
and we trailed off into Bitcoin. And I told him, I was like, look, if the market dropped on Bitcoin tomorrow, with the knowledge you have now, and you didn't have the cash, would you go raise capital and partner with somebody to go and invest in Bitcoin? And he said, yeah, no problem. And I asked him, would you do it a year ago? He said, no, no fucking chance. Like I didn't know anything about it. Had no clue, had no understanding of it. It wouldn't have made sense. I would have lost somebody money, right? In his head, like that's how it would have run. And it's the same thing with real estate. When the market drops, if I'm not sitting on cash, I'll raise capital. It's, somebody's out there sitting on cash.
Nice. Yeah, that's a little tricky if you're asking somebody else to give you money so you can go buy Bitcoin.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's so this is okay, qualifier. This is not financial advice. Not financial advice, nor is this a suggestion.
Yeah.
Because both are like any one of these assets is a volatile asset. Any one of these.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
you
I
don't,
said that I had a friend of mine that just said, I like Tesla. I'm buying it. He's like, well, maybe I'll buy some. And I just said, listen, do your own research. It's volatile. It goes up, and sure enough, it went up and then it went down. He's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I made this and then I made this, and I'm like, yeah, well, you gotta be prepared for the volatility, but it's better than being in cash over the long term. You're not going to keep
Right.
your money in a passbook savings account and watch inflation take it down at
Eat
least
away at it.
3% a year.
At least. But I think we're in hyperinflation.
Hyperinflation, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think we are, and you can see it.
Yeah.
It's just that not all the market has caught up,
Mhm.
because it just takes a little bit of time for the market to start catching up. But we're certainly in hyperinflation, and it's they went way over. The Fed went way over with correcting on this one.
That's why
That's
I
okay.
like, it's funny, it's almost like I ignore. So if you find a really good company like Tesla and you find all the things they're doing, then you just kind of ignore all that because you say, this is a company that is not stagnant. They're leader of the pack and continuing to grow. And they're building cars right now and robotaxi, but the future is energy storage and energy from the sun and from wind and not from fossil fuels. So
Exactly. If you look at like that video you sent me the other day, if you look at Amazon, Bezos 20 years ago,
yeah, that was awesome.
and compare it to what Elon Musk is saying today, it's literally the same. It's a 20-year vision. It's a 40-year vision. Amazon's still going.
I'm going to put it in the Facebook
Awesome
thing if I can.
Yeah, that video was fantastic. Just a great comparison, gives you a good idea of where Tesla's going. And I watched it not as, oh man, I want to invest in Tesla. I watched it just as a business owner saying, man, if you can think this way, if you can think this big and have a vision so big that there is no competition, it's just, how do I create more value for the client base that I already have? How do I serve more people and continue to expand? And as long as like Elon is not just selling cars, right? He's just adjusting to what he sees the marketplace requiring to get to Mars, right? Like that's it.
Right.
He's got a big goal. And he wants to get to Mars. So he's just, adding different ways to get there. You got to come up with the batteries. You got to come up with the solar power. You've got to come up with the vehicle and the AI, right? Because a lot of this is going to be done not with people piloting in the cockpits. Robots should be sent first. It should be, just a machine out there handling things, preparing it for us. And then, tireless machine that can repair itself. Like that's really where we need to be working first. I'm not sending people out there. That's old school. We were doing that back in the 50s, right?
That's amazing. I'm putting it in. I found it. I'm putting it in the chat.
Nice.
Cool.
I mean, you look at all the robotics that Tesla is playing with. All of his factories are automated.
I was blown away because he said like, you can't cookie cutter this stuff. So they had to build the machine to build the Tesla. So they actually make their own machines. But then he even went further to say that you can't find the parts to make the machine. So they had to make the parts to make the machine to make the car. That's engineering genius. That's awesome. You know?
Yep. They're sitting on so many of those 3D printers, the metal 3D printers, the rubber 3D printers, and they're just creating the parts they need for the machines.
Yeah.
And those machines create the parts for the Tesla.
So cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
If you look at their factories, it's a factory within factories within factory, like little factories within the bigger, larger factory that pumps out cars. But there's all these other little factories, little sections.
Yeah, exactly. Like a paint shop is supposed to be state of the art. Like nobody's ever seen a paint shop like that. And also they had this Italian company make the mold for the car now. And it does the whole body of the car in one stamp. So in one thing it comes out. It used to be like just the back bumper was 79 parts. And now they've reduced it. Think about the time and the cost savings for not having to weld and solder. It's just amazing.
And that creates more efficiencies.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
To everybody else's point of, we're getting rid of jobs. So what? We're creating a better quality of life, right? Like
I mean, there's an existential risk that the world could be disappearing. So this is part of the solution.
100%.
Is get rid of the gas and all the ice cars and all the pollution and all that kind of stuff. So.
People working is inefficient. Like if we really look at it, people working is inefficient. If we could just utilize solar heat that's already hitting our planet and power the robots instead of having us go out there and do these super inefficient tasks with gasoline and oil that we've got to dig out of the ground, that we only have a limited resource of, that throws so much carbon into the air, right? Like it's, as millionaires, as people who are looking to improve the world financially, educating people and helping them move forward financially, we've also got to make sure there's still a world to enjoy afterwards. You want air that you can breathe. You want food that is healthy for you. So I don't care how much money you have. You want to be able to enjoy your life, right?
Totally agree. Yeah, that's why they get the best. They said that SpaceX and Tesla are 1 and 2 for where new engineers choose as their place to go. So they have the best and the brightest working on these problems. And I think it's because they have a really strong why, to move the world to sustainable energy. It's just a great thing to be a part of. That's so cool. So yeah, I feel good about investing. About it. Yeah.
I bought, since we share stocks.
Yeah.
I bought a stock called Brookfield Energy, and they are the largest solar power producer in the world.
Cool.
In fact, I believe they produce 60% of all solar energy in America right now. So Brookfield stands to go up quite a bit with the Biden tax plan, which, since Biden's in power, I say run with it. Utilize what is good for the world and what will work for everybody. So Brookfield's the biggest and the best. And Robert Kiyosaki's been talking about being involved there. And also Bitcoin. Robert Kiyosaki's in Bitcoin now. He's always been in silver and gold. In fact, he owns his own silver mine and opened a gold mine in China until they took it away from him. So China seized the mine. So
really?
His lesson was don't do business in China.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, the solar the Tesla's doing now, it's supposedly in the next 5 years should really be as valuable, if not more valuable, than the car part, because they this part I might have talked about it before, but they have this stuff that they made. They also make their own software. They made this stuff called auto bidder software, which takes the energy from your power wall. So you got solar, stores in a battery pack on a wall called a power wall. And then you get on your app, auto bidder software, and you sign up for it. And this software created by Tesla will take energy from your power wall and sell it at the highest price. And if you need energy, it'll bring it to you at the lowest price. So it's like energy arbitrage, making giant power plants in the next 10 years obsolete. Because
Obsolete.
we'll all be our own little power plants. It's just
It,
so cool.
it's amazing, Mike. You got to watch the Men Who Built America, and it is all about centralization to actually make the world a better place, like to give people more freedom, to give them more light, because light was like a big deal, like going from, it got dark at 5 and there was no choice, and then oil
Right.
became
Right.
available, kerosene became available to everybody.
You said
And
that's
so
on Netflix, right?
it's on Netflix. Yep, easy to get to. And actually, I don't know if it was Netflix or if I had to buy it if I was on Amazon Prime. But Men Who Built America, Doug McGurk is the one who turned me onto it.
Right.
And you see that they're centralizing everything, right? Because like you just could not go and dig out oil and then turn it to kerosene and then build the lamps to put in your house. So you had to outsource these things. And so what happened was these big guys who, started small and built the capital, and they raised capital to go and build these big infrastructures, and were using the trains, and then started running their own pipes. So like they
That's
started
amazing.
100%, like this, the innovation of, well, why don't I run a pipe even longer? Like the longest pipe that's ever been run. And that's how I'll get it
Cool.
to the city.
Yeah. The
So
neat thing about all this stuff is that when people start saying stuff, then it becomes real and other people kind of take it on.
right.
Until you and I started talking about this stuff and somebody pointed out that Elon wants to go to Mars, I don't think anybody that I ever met really talked about it like seriously. And now
Right.
you can see it in the public consciousness that, yeah, if we can get up there and colonize, it's like, I mean, I'm not thinking about it every day. It's not like,
Right.
but it's created just like they did. They probably, people thought you couldn't make train tracks all the way to California. That's insane.
They
Let's think
said
of
it
all the metal. That's just
when Carnegie did the first bridge that spanned, I can't remember what body of water. I think it was the Mississippi. It was the
okay.
longest, the hardest part was getting across the Mississippi. And so he built a bridge that spanned the Mississippi, but he couldn't do it out of normal materials. He couldn't do it out of iron. He had to do it
Yeah.
out of steel. But steel was so expensive until he said, I'm gonna do it out of steel. And he went around and he found a guy who could produce steel. He'd found a way to produce steel in a more a faster way, which was much cheaper and more consistent. And so he, almost bankrupted himself going after this deal. He raised all the capital. He didn't have the capital himself. He raised all the capital and built this bridge. And then because there was a story about if an elephant would never pass an unsafe structure, an unstable structure. So as a big gimmick, he told everybody there's going to be an elephant and it's going to cross the bridge. And if the
That's
elephant
awesome.
crosses the bridge, you
Yeah.
can too.
That's awesome.
And so there's the elephant going across the bridge in the movie, and it's pretty cool because you see him, he's like,
I'll have to watch it. It'll be my assignment.
so it's I think it's 8 episodes. You watch one a night for a week or 2 weeks or whatever.
So just to change the subject and
Yeah.
personalize us, what's your plans for Thanksgiving? Because Thanksgiving is on its way. So
Thanksgiving's coming up. I plan on flying back to Massachusetts. So I'm in Tampa right now, and
yeah,
I'll be flying back to visit my dad and my uncle and my brother, and
nice.
then I will be flying right back. I'm driving back, so I'm
Taking
getting
another
there.
car?
I have my car back up here. The Toyota's here, and the Honda. The Honda is here in Tampa with us. The
Yeah.
Toyota's back in.
Oh, so you're bringing 2 cars down there. I didn't realize that.
Quite the commitment, Mike. Quite
Yeah,
the commitment.
why? The 2 of you really need 2 cars?
No, not at all. I just like the freedom of. I grab my car. My 2 phone magnets are sitting right there on my windshield, like little things.
Brenda and I are thinking of selling her Honda Odyssey, which has been beaten up a little bit, and selling my BMW and just getting 1 Tesla.
Right.
Seeing if we can work that together. It's just,
You probably could. Me and Dorina have been running this one car for the past week, and it's almost unnoticeable.
Yeah.
Because we either drive together anyway, or we're going and doing completely separate things. Neither of us do real estate transactions down here. So it's all been, we operate out of the house. She comes and goes as she pleases. And
Yeah.
if I want to go and buy silver for a day, I just take the car and I go buy silver for a day.
Yeah, because we have a little safeguard in that we both have Sam and Hannah, who are right up the street in East Greenwich. So if we needed an extra car, they would let us use the car. So yeah,
We got a community of 3,000 people, Mike. If you ever need a ride, you
I
put
love
it on
that.
Facebook and
You,
somebody
you
will
know what?
do a
You know what
ride.
you just caused, Dave? That's not. Is it? No. What's his name? Is the Dave? It's not Pereira. Is it
Cadero.
Madeira? Is it
Cadero, yeah.
the cadet from Keller Williams in Newport? Right.
Yes, yes.
He's gonna post in the next 2. So I'll take you anywhere. He's
Anywhere you want to go.
he's so awesome.
He's smart.
He's like my committed fan. It's like
Yeah,
yeah.
he's smart. You know, he listens, he pays attention.
I said
and
the
if he's an
same thing with
opportunity-
same thing with Mitch. I mean, if I had an hour to talk to Mitch about Bitcoin, where I didn't feel like I was wasting his time, I said, I'll pick you up at Logan Airport. Why not?
100%. You know, so for me, like I'm going back up on the 23rd. So I plan on texting my brother and just saying, hey, Josh, do you want to go? Because he's always asking for me to, pick his brain up. Well, he wants to pick my brain on his business.
He said he took a class on
he did,
crypto, right?
Cryptocurrency.
But useful? Yeah. Did he?
Extremely useful. And this guy, he sends out a newsletter every week and, lets you know what he's buying. He lives in Colombia now. He's retired, lives in Colombia. Really? Multi-millionaire through cryptocurrency, knows nothing about real estate, nothing about gold, nothing about stocks, just
amazing.
He stuck to crypto and, he really nailed it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, I got to get off at 11:15, so
cool.
I just scheduled the closing at 12, so I'm in my Zoom outfit. Don't tell anybody.
Nicely done. Nicely done. So, Mike, what are you doing for Thanksgiving? You have all the kids coming home?
We have 7 people in our family, so if anybody else came over, we would violate Rhode Island's policy. No, it's funny when we started talking about having kids. Brenda already had Sam and Hannah, but we always envisioned little kids running around the house and having like a big Thanksgiving. So we obviously we're vegan, so no turkey, but everything else is fair game. So we have stuffing and potatoes and sweet potatoes and turnip and tons of bread, and I think we've made pumpkin pie in the past that was vegan, and apple pie that's vegan. So just pretty standard. Eat like a pig.
Yeah.
Watch some football, and every year I try to get everybody in my family to do a turkey trot, and I think I've only gotten Noah to go out once. That was it. Nobody else.
So hold on. What is, before we get off of this, what is a turkey trot?
Oh, it's just a run. Let's go out because we're gonna eat like pigs. Let's just go for like a 3-mile run, and it's November, so it's cold. So let's go. I'll tell you a funny story. So Noah and I go on this one run, the only run we've ever done, and I see this guy on the side of the road, and I saw like a dead wild turkey, and this guy was on a street, like a main street on Thanksgiving. Nobody's around except for Noah and I running. And he's shooting wild turkeys on Route 1A in North Kingstown.
He took Turkey Run way too seriously.
Yeah, we were like, whoa. So yeah, that was pretty funny. So yeah, wow. I guess he couldn't just go to Stop and Shop and pick up a Butterball.
But he could afford the gun, right?
Yeah, I don't know what
Wow.
So, yeah, you want that real wild turkey.
I guess if you want to do all the work to prepare that is an extensive situation.
Yeah, so we're just chilling out at home, and
nice.
And it's just kind of fun to hang out with the family and not be too stressed. I mean, we've traveled in the past, but not this year.
No, I'm not a fan of traveling for the holidays. I will do it because I said to my family that I'll do it.
When I was a single guy, that was like the greatest thing I ever did, is I would always schedule to go somewhere on Wednesday before Thanksgiving and just hope to get bumped. I think one Thanksgiving I got bumped for like 4 flights, and I got like free flights from United Airlines for the rest of anywhere in the continental US. Every time you stand up, you say, yeah, they start out at like, we'll give you $100, we'll give you 200, but when they get desperate, they're like, free flight anywhere in the I'm in.
Sign me up.
Sit in the airport by yourself, for like a couple hours for the next flight. Yeah.
That's wild. I didn't even think of it. So maybe I booked my flight a little too early.
That's right. Wednesday.
For the Wednesday.
That's the key. I don't know in COVID, but it worked for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
The flights are not expensive. I think my flight home is like $23.
Oh yeah. So that one you probably wouldn't get bumped just to get another $23. But in the old days, it was like, $300-400, and I was like a college kid. I'm like, F it, I want to go someplace. Yeah.
Nope. Bring it to me. You're gonna find a way to travel, and if I gotta sit in the airport for a few hours to gain $300,
yeah, or get bumped multiple times and pick up 3 flights, you're set for the whole year.
That is nuts. That is a scenario that I think.
Hey, I finally got a business credit card.
Finally?
Yeah, I'd always used like a personal credit card for like the business expenses or whatever, but I think it was you that pointed out that you really want to use business credit card because it doesn't affect your personal credit or how much the banks are looking at, right? Isn't that?
Yep. Yeah. You want to use business credit. This way, when you go to apply for a loan or a mortgage, you're using your business credit instead of your personal credit. This way your business operates by itself without your credit constantly getting pulled. Especially you start doing deals 3-4 times a year. It's like, hold on, like my score needs a little time to heal here.
Yeah, right. That's a good point. Yeah. So
the business credit helps a lot.
Yeah. And then the next thing I guess would be like a business line of credit, right?
Yeah. And you base that off of your real estate.
Yeah.
It'd be a line of credit on your LLC off your real estate.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. I had to ask you about credit cards since you have how many?
23.
26. 23. Do they have any balance on them, or do you just
most of them do not. No. Yeah. But I'll go and I'll toss this is a small stack of them. Some of them don't have I don't have a card anymore.
So funny. You actually bought properties with your credit card, right?
I have. Not encouraging that, by the way.
No,
not condoning it.
But full price with the credit cards, or just a down payment, or what?
So what I did was a hybrid strategy. So I was earning $15,000. No, I had an expense bucket of about $15,000 a month. And so what I did was I put for 3 months $15,000 on my cards. And so it ended up being $45,000 on the cards, but all that money that I would have paid in cash, I just had in cash now. And so that was how I was able to finagle putting it on credit cards. Doesn't work for most people unless you're spending a ton of money every month and you can pay it on your credit cards.
Gotcha.
So one, I don't encourage that model because I don't think that now my business does not cost me that much. Although I could probably, we do spend, I probably could do it again if I wanted to. We spend somewhere around $15,000-$20,000 on between maintenance, electric, water, taxes. And we could probably pay our mortgages and credit cards if we really wanted to. So we could, I could see us doing that if
that's crazy.
If it ever became a desperate situation, but we get lines of credit so much easier now. You don't have to do it, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I was just curious. I think it's a really neat, I don't recommend it, but if you're an investor and you're savvy and you've kind of built your way into it, I just think it's really an interesting strategy. You hear a lot of people on Bigger Pockets. That's the way they started. Was they didn't have
I think it actually starts even earlier than that. For me, I didn't get those cards until I went through a coaching program that charged me more than I had on credit. And so they said, "Oh, well, let me run your credit. We can get you more card." Right. And here's these cards with no annual fees and 18% free interest. And as long as you learn how to make more money in the next year, there you go. No problem. And so I did actually learn how to make more money. I paid those cards off. No problem. It was $10,000, but I was able to get my limits up to $100,000. So when the next coach said, "Hey, here's my $35,000 coaching program," I was like, I know how to do this. Put it on all these different cards.
So when you when you use the card to get the coaching program and then you pay off that 35,000, what's the use of the card at that point? Because the 18 months are done, or I mean, yeah.
So at that point, you've built a relationship with the bank. Your credit limits have increased. You've gone up, and the card still is. They all have points on them. So when you go and you spend money on those cards, you get points.
Gotcha.
So there's still some benefit as long as, like, now you have just really big credit lines. So I use them for marketing now. So I could go and drop $10,000 on Facebook ads next week and not have to have cash for that. Get the return on investment and go pay off the card. So you're still not paying interest.
That's cool. Nice job. That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's
awesome.
Like in the beginning, everybody judged me for putting
I was gonna say.
training on cards, right? But look, they'll go take out a loan from Sally Mae for their credit, for their school. So I did that. So to me, it's like, well, why don't I take an interest-free loan and then invest in my education and go pay it back?
Right. I like it.
I don't encourage that for anybody. I think that worked for me. Do
I just liked it because it was a cool story. I'm not, please, that's not advice. It's just kind of neat to see how successful real estate people have gotten to where they are and all the little tricks of the trade and things like that. But you're absolutely right. Right now, it's so easy to get hard money and private money and other types of money that are not
lines of credit,
HELOCs, to a 26% interest credit card. So
private loans. Like there's so many different options now. Like
partnerships, Mike Schein.
Partnerships. There you go. There you go. If you got a good enough deal, we will partner with you.
Yeah.
Bring up the deal. If it's in real estate, we were interested. So Mike, it's about that time.
Yeah.
This Saturday's lesson, I want to talk about wealth principle 43 real quick, which is understand the power of demographics. And the book of the week will be The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene.
I'll put it in the chat.
Mike's homework is to read that book this week. And if he doesn't, I will do the description of the book, or at least I'll support the missing pieces that Mike hasn't read yet.
Thanks, because I really want to read the Elon Musk book.
That's fine. Go with that book first. I'll make sure I do this one. The book is this thick, right? The Laws of Human Nature is a really, really great book. And understanding the power of demographics is so important for your business to become wealthy, to become rich. You've got to understand the people that you're working with and what they move, what they do. They become your avatar, your business avatar. We say it all the time in marketing. And identifying the demographics, identifying the migration patterns in real estate allows us to get ahead of them.
That's cool.
But before everybody else does, you get paid for that. There's a premium.
Awesome. That is awesome.
So we'll be talking about demographics, and we'll be talking about them specifically towards real estate. So it's a very cool lesson.
Nice. Are we doing a show next week, by the way?
Of course, we do a show every week. Yeah, as long as it fits your calendar, I believe.
Absolutely. Gobble.
I believe I'm not traveling on the Wednesday. I'm traveling on the Tuesday, so I should be
25th.
Should be manageable. Yeah,
I've got it in there. 10 a.m. on November 25th.
Awesome, my friend. Then I will see you next week. Well, I'll see you before then, this Saturday. Go to walteramarillo.com/live and register for the Saturday event, 52 Weeks to Wealth, Principle 43.
Awesome.
Cheers to your success. Mike, let's sign us out.
Yeah, massive income from passive income.
When you have a choice, always work with the best.
Peace.
Later, Mike. Good luck in your closing.
Oh, yeah, thanks. Good luck.